It's another great week of college football, and here we are on one fine Sunday afternoon, like we always are, it seems like here lately. It's becoming a tradition to pop up in here, I guess around the 3:30 to 4:30 markish. Give people time to go get their Sunday school on and get a little Sunday lunch and dinner with the family, and then come in here and rehash all the college football, whether it be good or bad. It was pretty good for the two Sooner Nations who are pretty hardcore in here. We also have plenty other fan bases up in here too. But yeah, add your tell your friends about this channel and like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel. But we're gonna go ahead and get into the mix here. We got a lot of stuff going on. The two Crimson Nations won, as well as other huge games yesterday. Notre Dame beat the Skittle Shitters in USC. I'm sure a lot of Oklahoma fans are happy about that. Indiana and Ohio State have taken over the top two spots. But something to give us a little mojo to come out of the gate here. Let's go ahead and pop something up real quick to just get y'all fired up.
And it's a play action pass, and it's intercepted! Zabian Brown with one man who can catch him. Zabian Brown all the way! Touchdown, Alabama!
Ho, 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 my, oh, my. That was awesome. That's worth a second look. And then I'll pop up some Oklahoma stuff as well as your team. Tell me who your team is, and I'll pop up a nice little clip of the day for them. If y'all won yesterday, just tell me, and I'll pop it up. One more time.
And it's a play action pass, and it's intercepted! Zabian Brown with one man who can catch him. Zabian Brown all the way! Touchdown, Alabama!
Woo! That was great. I'm not going to lie. I like to lost my noodle completely when that shit happened. I ain't going to lie to you, man. Y'all been here and seen me jumping around, acting and pitching all sorts of fits. That was a big 14-point swing for the Alabama Crimson Tide. As you know, big win for them yesterday. Beat Tennessee by 17. But it's really, the game was sort of closer. To Tennessee's credit, it was really closer than the score indicated because they did outgain us a little bit, although they did have a lot of trash yardage there at the end of the game there. So, yeah, let's get that off of there, put the grill back up, and see who we got in the house so far, and then I'll pop up another clip for y'all. Thunder OU Sooner is the most attending listener of all time. He is actually the first batter up today, so he gets a double shot. Mike Stoops is working for Kentucky, and his brother Mark Stoops. Both Crimson Nations won yesterday. Boomer Center Roll Tide. Dallas Smith said, let's go mess up Ole Miss. Lori's in the house. She says, what's up, Outlaw? Defense wins championships. Well, it seems like it's reverted back to that. There was a time period there, Dallas, where it looked like the offenses were winning everything. You had the Lincoln Riley offenses, the up-tempo thing, and finally, once again, as it always does, it goes in cycles. The defense has caught up to those offenses. So I will agree with you, Dallas. But 3 or 4 years ago, I might not have agreed with you. I thought the defensive championship motto, your team wins championships with defenses. I can't even speak today. I'm so happy. I keep stuttering. But the whole motto of defense wins championships was being tested there in the early 2020s and late 2000 teens. But I'm glad it's back to the way it is, man, because those 52 to 49 games, that's just not my cup of tea. Levi says, was a hell of a pick six, says Levi. Tim Gillespie says, awesome. Speaking of Tim Gillespie, he's one of our Gold Club members. He's made numerous donations to the program. He's also a future sponsor. We're going to get Tim on here. He may even get on the show and actually give us some good scripture. He's the one that gave me that Bible, that brown leather, gold trimmed encased Bible. It's an awesome Bible. Appreciate it, Tim. Fred Bagley's in the house. He's one of the stars of this show. Howdy Outlaw and Posse. Congrats to Bama, he says. Defense has to score every once in a while for the offense to score. Good defense is a good offense, right? Well, let's check this out. This is the play of the game for those Oklahoma Sooners that I found that y'all will like. Some of you Oklahoma Sooners that's in here. Like I said, if you got any LSU fans, Ohio State fans, Michigan fans, Notre Dame fans, even the Skittle Shitter fans, if you want me to find you a clip, if you're getting your ass handed to you by Notre Dame, I'll do it. I mean, hey, I'm a giving kind of guy. Check it out. All right, here we go.
My idol.
Well, that's wrong. Here we go. Here we go. And that was a great bounce back win for the Oklahoma Sooners. They shot a lot of grit. John Mateer looked a little bit more healthier in this game. I must say, I went back and watched the highlights and the final points of it, and he looked a little bit more healthy. I was worried about him playing this game. I was even thinking that maybe he should set out this game and wait until a more, bigger opponent. But South Carolina and Lenore Sellers are a train wreck, so it was a good game to follow up on. In Texas, in Texas fashion, almost completely crapped the bed. The Long Turds almost turded themselves in Lexington because without a goal line stand there, Kentucky wins that game. And that's what Texas is going to have to learn, is that these road games in the SEC are like no other conference. I'm not trying not to say to piss off people that used to be in the Big 12, or people that are in the Big 12, or people that are in the Big 10 or the ACC. But these venues are much harder to play in than any other conference. Even the smaller venues like Mississippi State will wreck your nerves with those damn cowbells. Dallas Smith says he knew Kentucky would not be easy for them. By the way, if y'all want to donate to the show, you'll see it coming across the screen down here. Money $ JPC316 on Cash App. That's the only way that we can get donations to keep the show up and running now, because, as I've said numerous times already, I got demonetized to December 14th for resharing Charlie Kirk TikTok videos in my short section. So the only way to support the program now is via Cash App, or I can also be found on Venmo under JPC316. Now, let's back to the good goodie here that we got going on. Let's see what they got to say here in the comment section real quick. Thunder OU Center says Florida will fire their head coach. Who's going to be next? They've already fired him. It's already out. He's been fired. So, yeah. That's a done deal, Thunder OU Center. And what I'm hearing with the Florida Gators is that they're looking at possibly James Franklin and Lane Kiffin. To me, Lane Kiffin should stay at Ole Miss. He could go 8-4 there every year and never get fired. You go to Florida and you go 8-4, or even go to the SEC title game, you'll get fired, like Dan Mullen did, who's actually doing pretty good at UNLV. They finally lost their first game this past week to Boise State, but up to that point, Dan Mullen was undefeated with UNLV. So if it's me, I would not take the Florida job if I'm a head coach. All these head coaching jobs that's coming opening, people are thinking, well, this is the coach I'm going to go steal. It's not that way anymore. A lot of these programs like Indiana, for example, up the ante and give Cignetti $11 million a year, because now these rich alumnus for these universities can actually get more involved with the NIL and give money to the players. So now they're more apt to give to these football programs, whereas in the past, the old Blue Bloods had the advantage over the Indianas of the world because they had more of a tradition. Players wanted to play for them. A lot of players want to play for those schools because they feel like it helps them get the NFL easier. Well, now you don't have that anymore. Now with NIL, You can buy the best players, get them developed, and go to the NFL from any program in the FBS Division I football. Kim Hurst says everyone screaming last week for all the coaches to be fired at OU need to get their binky out and shut the F up. Yeah, a lot of people were calling for it. I done a video on it last week. Don't kill the messenger. But a lot of people, I was just doing a video on what was being sent to me, Kim, and that is people wanted to see Brent Venables fired, especially some of the staffers. DeMarco Murray was one that was mentioned the most, and then Joe John Finley was the other one that everybody wants to see fired as well. I have to agree with the whole Joe John Finley and DeMarco Murray thing in a way because those guys really haven't done their job since they've been here, Kim. I don't know. It's a hard call. This is the year of fire your coach and do better, right? UCLA fires their coach, and they hadn't lost since. 3-4 now after starting 0-4. So, well, Penn State screwed that all up. Forgot. Penn State lost to Iowa last week. So, yeah. Is it true Alabama's getting an indoor and outdoor stadium? We got an indoor facility now. I don't think we're going to get an indoor stadium. We do have indoor facilities, though, that we use. So we already have that. But as far as two stadiums, I don't think that's going to happen. It might, but I doubt it. Rod Guy 1218's in the house. That's why nobody's trying to get Dan Lanning. Well, yeah, you're right about that. I mean, I'm not saying it can't happen. It could definitely happen if the right offer came about and they had certain perks attached to it, or if there's some kind of sentimental draw. Like, for example, before the season, if you told me Shane Beamer might go to Virginia Tech, I would say probably not because he's having a decent career there at South Carolina. Now they're 3-4. So now Shane may feel like, hey, it might be easier to go to the ACC and win at my alma mater and still have a chance to go to the playoffs with Virginia Tech. If I was Shane Beamer, I would take the Virginia Tech job over that. And the big debate going on right now is which job is better right now. There's so many big name schools open. Let's go ahead and take a look at that right now, unless y'all want to do the AP Top 25 first, or we can go over Alabama and Oklahoma's box scores. Which one would y'all prefer to do first? Dallas Smith says combined. Are you talking about putting a retractable roof on Bryant-Denny? Is that what you're talking about? That may happen. That might be a good idea, Dallas. Even if they're not thinking about it, they should. As much money as Alabama's clearing there, and believe me, they're clearing some money. My mother worked for the university for 37 years, and she used to complain about how much Nick Saban got. But Nick Saban got his money from the football team directly. They pay the coaches directly. They have their own bank account. They don't take money from the actual university to pay these coaches. People think that the actual university is paying them. It's not. It's their donor programs usually that's paying all that. So with the money that they're making, they could absolutely make Bryant-Denny into a retractable roof stadium. I don't know about the logistics of that. It's pretty tight down there. It would take some work, but they could do it. They got the money to do it. But Nick Saban used to get paid $9-10 million a year, and people bitch about it. But Alabama was clearing probably 30 or 40 million. So if you clearing 30 or 40 million, and you're paying this guy 9 million, 10 million, 10 minus 40, you're still clearing 30 million, right? So yeah. Robert Bacon claims that Florida is a sleeping giant. Coach Talk, top 25 later, says Fred Bagley. Lori says it don't matter to her. So, yeah, we'll go ahead and do the Coach Talk for Fred Bagley real quick. Let's go ahead and bring that up real quick for y'all. But it's always great when my two Crimson Nations win. Makes it a lot easier for me to get on here and be riled up and upbeat. But, yeah, let's find that real quick for y'all. That's not the right one. Here we go. Right here it is, Fred. Can y'all see that? No, I might can enlarge it. Anyway, as of today, we got another one. Actually, we got two. Not that nobody cares about the Colorado State Rams, but they fired their coach today too, by the way, Jay Norvell. The big name, though, is Billy Napier has finally been fired at Florida. They say they're firing all these coaches in the middle of the year now to get ahead of the transfer portal. Not sure what the details of or that, but that's the reason why you're seeing so many coaches fired in the middle of the year, is because it gives you some kind of an advantage over the transfer portal. So the etiquette of waiting to the end of the year is no longer with us. So, yeah, you don't fire your coach, go ahead and fire him in the middle of the year so you don't get screwed on the transfer portal, is what I'm hearing. But, yeah, first we got Billy Napier. He was 22 and 23 in 4 seasons. Like I said, a lot of people are saying that James Franklin may end up at Florida. People laugh about that. Well, he couldn't win the big game, but he's in the Big Ten where Ohio State and Michigan are king. They were always going to be third fiddle. It wouldn't matter if they brought back Joe Paterno's ghost. They're not going to beat those two more than likely in the same year. And even if they beat one of them, they might not beat the other one. Even if they beat both of them, there's still other teams in that conference that pop up that are good year to year. I don't know. I think it was a situation where it just got old and stale. And Franklin used to win all the games that he was supposed to win, but never could win those big games. Well, when he started losing those games that he was supposed to win, then they had their excuse. But it may end up biting them in the ass, because he may go somewhere else and do really good, because he had an excellent record. I haven't got his record. I got his record right here. James Franklin was 104 and 45 in 12 seasons. That dude is almost, 60 games over 500, and you fired him? Really? And he went to the Final Four last year. Now, granted, it's a little misleading, as Penn State fans will tell you. He beat Boise State and SMU to get to the Final Four. But he did make the playoff. And people snicker about him going to Florida because it's a lot tougher conference down here, and he may not win at Florida if he got the job. But he did win the SEC before. Everybody's lauding Clark Lee about how great of a transformation he made at Vanderbilt. People forget that before Clark Lee, I can forget who they hired in between him and Clark Lee. But there was a guy in between. But before that guy that Clark Lee replaced, it was James Franklin that took Vanderbilt to respectability. James Franklin actually made it to where you could win at Vanderbilt. So if he can win at Vanderbilt, I definitely think James Franklin could win at Florida. What do y'all think? As Fred Bagley says, if y'all don't mind, jump out, smash that like button, as Fred Bagley said. And common folks, help out the outlaw, because we are. Glad you brought that up, Fred, because it reminds me of our motto. I like to say this at least once or twice a show. We are the home of the Common Joe and the Common Sally on the know, even more so than all those media talking heads. That's right. The Common Joes put those talking heads in the know. They don't want you knowing that. But anyway. All right. Storm 4601's in the house. He used to be a posse member when we had posse memberships. But like I said, I got screwed by YouTube and got demonetized. Storm 4601 says, can't believe Mark Stoops didn't kick the field goal and put the pressure on Manning in overtime. Well, they were at the 1 yard line. But I get what you're saying. But if they had kicked the field goal, Texas would have probably been more aggressive, Storm, and may have scored a touchdown and beat them anyway. So we'll never know, though, right? Because Mark Stoops made that decision. Reason why Mark Stoops hadn't been fired, by the way, is because Kentucky's buyout's different than everybody else's. While theirs ain't as much overall, it's only $34 million. They had to pay off $34 million up front. Whereas someone like Alabama is more doable, even though ours is $65 million. If we were to fire Kalen DeBoer tomorrow, which we better not do right now, Alabama pays him in monthly installments, which for some reason is much more doable and feasible. People need to take note of that. But, yeah. I think Franklin would do just okay. Dallas Smith says, if you can get Venmo, I can send that money. Yeah, I got Venmo. Venmo, JPC 316 Dallas Smith. Anything that y'all can donate, $1, $2, $3, $5, whatever you want. Hell, if you feel real generous and want to make me have a great Christmas, you can put $2,000 in there. They might tax me on that, though. Dallas Smith says they definitely have the resources at Florida to compete. This is true, but they got a crazy fan base down there sometimes. I mean, we got some pretty cultish-like fan bases out here. Even my team, Alabama, we got some straight-up cultish-like fans. But it's a different animal down there in Florida. Rye Guy 1218 says, I don't think James Franklin will take Florida to the top of the SEC. He may not, but maybe he can get them back to respectability, going maybe 9-3, 10-2 every year. What do you think, Rye Guy? Little late getting in. Both Crimson Nations are rising from the plains of Norman all the way to Tuscaloosa. Number two nations, one tribe. Oh, 2 nations, 1 tribe. Excuse me, Laura, I'm all tongue-tied today. I think it's because I ain't drank my energy drink. Got me a ghost here. Let me get a little swig of that, Laura. Maybe I'll change my tune. Maybe it's be like my Popeye spinach. Remember when you pop that shit out of the can, turn into Superman? Let's reread Laura's since I butchered it. She said she's a little late getting in. Both Crimson Nations. Tide is rising from the plains of Norman. Messed up again. From the plains of Norman all the way to Tuscaloosa. 2 nations, 1 tribe. That's right. But Sisyphus JWK is in the house. If your team's mascot is the Gamecocks, don't talk trash. A couple of dummies found out the hard way yesterday. Yeah, why would you name I know it's a damn rooster that fights. But I'd rather my damn nickname be the Roosters. Fighting Roosters, man. And you don't want to put the word cock in your name as a mascot anytime. I mean, I bet the girls' sports take a real hit. Just saying. Don't get mad at me. I'm not the one that done it to you, South Carolina. As Sisyphus JWK says. All right, let's go back to these coaching vacancies. Oregon State just fired their coach. He almost lost to Lafayette. And I'm not talking about Louisiana Lafayette, which would be bad in itself. I'm talking about just Lafayette from the Patriot League. Barely in the FCS. In the Dollar General version of the Ivy League, Lafayette. That Lafayette. It was 13-10 in deep in the second quarter. It ended up 45-13. But you should never have a team in the Patriot League leading you if you're in Division I football. I don't give a shit if you're 0-10. That's just something. That'd be like Alabama getting down 13-10 to Alabama A&M. You just don't do that shit. Arkansas, as we know, dismissed Sam Pittman. Now, Bob Petrino, even though he hasn't won a game, he's been close in each and every game against much more superior, supposedly more superior competition, that being Tennessee and Texas A&M back-to-back. They give both those teams a scare, got within 3 points of both Tennessee and Texas A&M, and they were just hyping up A&M this morning on Power 5. Watch out for Texas A&M. They're lighting up the damn world. I'm like, man, they barely beat Arkansas, man. Shut up. A&M, the only good win they got is against Notre Dame, and I'm not sure how good Notre Dame is. They ain't played nobody since they lost to them except for the Skittle Shitters. They did beat USC yesterday. Notre Dame will probably win out and go to the playoffs at this point, to be honest with you. Navy is undefeated, but Navy's played nobody. Navy is a shell of an undefeated team. Now, it would make me happy as hell if Navy beat them. If Navy would run the table and be the G5 school this year, that would be awesome to see a service academy in the playoffs. But they just don't have the athletes, man. It's not fair for the service academies anymore to really try to compete on Division I. They should drop down to the FCS, in my opinion. But yeah, Sam Pittman got dropped. He probably deserved it. Bob Petrino right now is doing a decent job. He's got him playing competitively. There's been a lot of names bandied about for that job, from keeping Bob Petrino to John Gruden. Jimbo Fisher's name's starting to pop up too, by the way. There's some jobs out there that haven't came open yet that may come open as the year goes on. I could see Florida State. They said Florida State's talking about firing Mike Norvell. I think the worst thing that could have happened to Florida State was upsetting Alabama because it got their hopes up. They thought they were back. But they said that Florida State has now lost 9 straight conference games in the ACC. Since going 13-0 in the regular season and 13-1 overall, Florida State has went it went 2-10 last year. Y'all help me do the math here. And they're 3-4 this year, right? So what's that give them? Gives them what, 5 wins and 14 losses? They're 5-14 the last year and a half. I mean, all he did was just put a shit stain on Alabama's schedule, man. It's just an albatross hanging on us right now. I don't know how we lost that stinking game, but we did. It's just college football, man. You never know. UCLA, for example, it's like you fire your coach, you start winning. In most places, not all. But UCLA is on fire. Hey, they won 3 in a row, but they ain't really played any good teams yet. They played Penn State was considered a good team. They ain't anymore. They lost to Iowa yesterday. But UCLA fired Deshaun Watson, as we know, and the guy they brought in there is now undefeated. I think he's 3-0. So he may end up getting that job. I think his last name is Skipper, Tim Skipper. A lot of names have been bandied about that. Jimbo Fisher, John Gruden, all those usual suspects. As you can see here, Virginia Tech's job is open. Stanford fired their coach, and they're winning. They beat Florida State last night after Florida State threw a Hail Mary, then got a pass interference in the end zone, got it to the 2-yard line, and still lost the damn game. How do you lose a game after making a Hail Mary catch? I think that's a first. And as you know, Colorado State fired their coach. UAB fired Trent Dilfer. Kent State fired Kenny Burns way back in April. So that's the major college names that have been fired thus far. And like I said, do not be surprised if a few more drop. Florida State's coach looks like he might be next. Both teams in the state of Florida. Let me tell y'all another one that might be getting axed. That not many people want to admit it, especially those down there in the Bayou. Those corn dogs down there in LSU. If Brian Kelly starts losing a little bit more, as much as they're paying him and as much shit as he talked coming in, don't be surprised if Mike Norvell gets fired and then later on Brian Kelly meets the same fate, especially if he loses to Ole Miss. Who's he plays with? That's Oklahoma. Oklahoma plays Ole Miss this week. Who's LSU play? Texas A&M. They play undefeated Texas A&M. If they can beat Texas A&M, that might save Brian Kelly's ass just a little while longer. But then after Texas A&M, they got to play Alabama. Be our luck that, hey, they'd upset us. Which I wouldn't mind losing another game. That sounds messed up, because I would love to have a home game here in Tuscaloosa in the middle of December. That's never happened here. We've played early games in December, but we've never played a mid-December game in Tuscaloosa ever. But it'd be great for the economy here because the students here leave, and this is just a college town. So when the students leave, there's no business here. It's just a middle-sized town, and it relies completely on the university. And it's got some businesses, but not enough to really survive without the university. Stanford hasn't fired Frank Reich. I didn't say they had fired Frank. I said they fired their coach that was there last year in the middle of the spring. His name was Kenny Burns. That's who they fired. And Frank Reich is a interim coach. They brought him in as a long interim coach. And he may be about to keep the job now that he beat Florida State. Everybody laughed at him because they lost to Hawaii, but Hawaii's 6-2 now. So, Dallas Smith says, what happened in TTU and ISU? Well, TTU does what TTU does. Texas Tech and Ole Miss are like two twin brothers that from another mother kind of deal. Both those programs, they get to the top 5, and then it's just like, wait a minute, we're not supposed to be up here. We got to lose a game. And what tickles me about this, Dallas, is these Texas Tech fans come in here on my channel all week. Oh, why is Alabama ranked ahead of us? They got a loss and we ain't got beat. Well, Alabama's beat better competition, first of all. We ain't lost to better competition. Right about that. We lost to the squaws down there, the damn fake Indians. But Texas Tech, now you see why Texas Tech. Now you see why they had Alabama ranked ahead of y'all, because they knew y'all were due. They knew y'all were going to end up crapping the bed like you always do, soiling the sheets. And that's what you done. You lost to Arizona State. Now you can still recover. Texas Tech's got plenty of season left. And the Big 12's not that taxing of a conference now that Oklahoma and Texas is gone. You might have a chance to work your way back because you only got one loss. Arizona State has 2 losses. I'm not sure of the Big 12 standings right now, but I do know Texas Tech's probably still in the driver's seat even though they lost that game. Tuscaloosa kind of sounds like Eugene in a way. He says, well, I've never been to Eugene, so I really can't speak on that. But, yeah, Eugene sounds like it would be Tuscaloosa just by the name. Lori Rogers says, I was at Williams-Brice Stadium yesterday, had a great time. I know you will have a great time too. Tell me again how to become a deputy. Well, we can't do the Outlaw Posse thing anymore to December 14th, Lori. As this thing comes across the scroll, you sort of set me up for this. Money $sign JPC316 on Cash App. If you donate to the program multiple times during the month, once or twice, usually, well, to be in the Gold Club, the Outlaw Posse Gold Club, you have to donate 2 or 3 times a month, just a little bit. And it's also Venmo, JPC316. I was demonetized for resharing Charlie Kirk TikTok videos to December 14th. So the only way I can get money now is through Cash App or Venmo. Forgot about Oklahoma State. How could I forget about Okie Pokey Chokey State? Thank you, Thundro, you Sooner. Thank you for reminding me, my brother. That's why we call this the home of the common Joe and the common side of the no. Because I forgot. And I'm sitting here being a talking head, and Thundro you Sooner says, hey, man, check this out. He didn't even say, hey, did you forget Oklahoma State? Just threw me a nice little hint right there. I didn't completely pull my drawers down, did you? Oklahoma State is going to have some competition hiring a new coach. That's exactly right. So that same thing goes for anybody else that's thinking about firing a coach. For you Oklahoma fans out there that's wanting to fire Brent Venables, just think about this. If you fire him, you got to go up against Florida, Penn State, UCLA, Arkansas, Oklahoma State, possibly Florida State and LSU. It might be better if you kept Brent Venables for one more year and then hired someone next year if it didn't work out. But let me ask y'all this. All right, y'all won yesterday. You're 6-1. Let's say Oklahoma finishes 8-4 and they miss the playoffs, but they go to a decent bowl game. Do you keep Brent Venables for 8-4? 8-4. Do y'all keep him? Just curious. Because if you don't keep him, y'all gonna have a lot of competition out there, like Thunder U Center says, to hire a new head coach. Boo Libs. Boo Libs, said Dallas Smith. Right. I'm assuming you're talking about those spastics in Austin. All right, let's check this out. There's Turd Ferguson. Turd Ferguson's in the house. Best screen name ever. Fred Bagley says Texas Tech will be the next team to try and buy a title. A&M in Texas, it hadn't worked. I think there's too many issues when you try to buy it. But you can try to buy it. Doesn't mean you're going to get it because you got to develop the talent. That's what happened with Texas A&M. They bought that number one class and then went on to look like a complete ass. Not trying to rhyme with a dime, but just saying on time, they went 7-5 or some shit. What was it, 5-7? I think it was like 5-7. And when they bought out Jimbo Fisher for $75 million or $80 million, might have been more than that. But he's actually been thrown around too. Check this out. This guy brought this up on Paul Feinbaum's show. I think it was Matt Berry. This was an interesting nugget. I got to give it to him. Jimbo Fisher's out there. Rumor has it he wants to get back in. He's been out for a few years collecting that big dough. What if Florida State fires Mike Norvell? Y'all think that they would go back and bring Jimbo Fisher back? Because Jimbo Fisher won a national title there. People can talk all the shit they want about Jimbo Fisher, and he is a complete ass and a jerk most of the time. But the guy wins games usually, unless you're down there at the Colt in Texas A&M. By the way, Texas A&M is undefeated, but I think they're going to be just like Texas Tech. They're going to find somewhere along the way to crap the bed a couple of times. But if I'm Florida State, I'd hire Jimbo Fisher back. They had a bad parting of ways, a bad divorce when he left. Some bad things happened and said between both parties. But that guy's not there no more. That administration's not there no more. If I'm Florida State, I would definitely bring Jimbo Fisher back. To me, that's a no-brainer, man. Bring him back. He won a national title. People's always saying, you can't follow a legend and win a national title. Wrong answer. Because this shit happened with Jimbo Fisher. Jimbo Fisher followed Bobby Bowden, and Bobby Bowden even left the program in bad shape. And Jimbo Fisher still won a national title. So, yeah. Coach O wants to coach again also. That's somebody I would not hire. Maybe he is a defensive coordinator, maybe. The guy's got too much baggage. He's a very shady individual, a sexual deviant, all that shit. Him and Urban Liar. Everybody talks about Urban Liar all the time. Oh, Urban, he's got a great record. Yeah, Urban's always good for the first 3 or 4 years. But after that 4th or 5th year, the program starts to go to crap. He starts bringing in these shady individuals like Aaron Hernandez. Was his name Aaron Hernandez? People like that. And then in Ohio State, he had a coach on the staff that was beating his wife, and then they covered the shit up. Oh, she was crazy. She was having mental issues. Don't matter. Don't matter if she's having mental issues. I don't care. The dude still hit her. And you covered it up, Urban. And then you go down to Jacksonville and kick a player. A place kicker at that. How ironic is that? I think he did that on purpose. I think he wanted to get fired at Jacksonville and get that damn buyout. Because a lot of these coaches get these big buyouts and they're like, damn, if I get fired, I'm just sit at home. I can go get me a freak nasty in Thailand and just sit around in Bangkok and bang my cock and all that good stuff for millions of dollars. Shit. Lori says, if BV does get fired whenever that time comes, there goes the defense. I doubt the defense will ever be the same. It will be like before. No, I don't know about that now. Granted, Brent Venables is one of the best defensive coordinators of all time, Lori. But there are other coaches out there besides Brent Venables that can coach a defense, or even coaches that are more offensively inclined that know how to bring in a defensive coordinator that can do the job. Kalen DeBoer, he's more of an offensive-minded coach, but his defensive coordinator, Kane Womack's, not doing a bad job. So I'm just saying, Brent Venables is a great defensive coordinator. I'm not trying to insult you or the Sooner Nation by saying he ain't, because he is. He's great. But he's not the only guy that can coach a great defense. to say you want to hold on to him just because of that would be a bad thing to do. You need to get a coach that's more varied, more of a CEO, somebody that can sort of delegate a little bit better. Brent's a hands-on guy with the defense right now, and sometimes that may be a great thing, and sometimes it could be a detriment to Brent Venables. Dallas Smith says same as Sarkey's a sleazeball. Is Sark a sleazeball? I ain't know Sark was a sleazeball. He's got a bad haircut, but he had a hot-ass wife. That was some sexual chocolate for real right there, boy. I think they got divorced, though, right? Got a horrendous haircut. Around here, we call him grown-up Pee Wee Herman because if you notice, his hair sort of got that Pee Wee Herman look about it. Sometimes he don't, but sometimes they have that little twig sticking up. It's like right towards almost to the front, but sort of in the middle. Not quite like alfalfa, but like in between, like Pee Wee Herman. I have trouble picturing the outlaw in Bangkok. Well, you might have trouble picturing it, but I tell you what, man, if I was a coach and I got that money, and you'd see Coach Outlaw in Bangkok. My wife might not like that, though. That might get me in trouble. You're right. How about this? I can give Storm 4601 a ticket to Bangkok, and you can go party for me and just, send us back pictures, stuff like that. What do you think? Yeah. CD touchdown. What's that? Is that some NFL crap? Hey, Jack. What y'all doing, man? Playing with your food over in Lexington. Damn, man. Y'all almost got beat by a bunch of bluegrass horse humpers. Kentucky, man, all the thing they good for, and they ain't even good at basketball really anymore. They're average. They decent. But not like they used to be. Is in horse racing. Horse humping. Whatever they call it. Yeah, we'll send Fred, and we'll send maybe Robert Bacon and Dallas Smith and Richard Young. Who else? I get 5 on it. Darren Mizzou fan, Turd Ferguson, Lori, Kevron Harris. We'll send all of y'all to Bangkok if I get a buyout and I take over the head coaching job. If Florida offered me the head job, I would take it. And I would intentionally get fired, just like Urban Meyer did at Jacksonville. And I would, not Urban Meyer, I'm sorry, Urban Liar. And I take my ass to the Orient. I've always wanted to go overseas and learn the Orient. I've always wanted to learn the Asian alphabet or the Japanese alphabet or the Chinese alphabet, whatever it is. All them crazy squiggly lines and shit they got going on. I could even go see a game in Nagasaki where the Nagasaki egg rolls play. Right? By the way, if y'all want to donate to the show, we don't have Super Chat down anymore. You want to be in the Gold Club, donate a couple times a month. But even if you don't donate but one time, I will give you a shout out on the program in the next podcast we do. It just scrolled across there. It said JPC316, money $ JPC316, as well as on Venmo, JPC316. Sark probably would have been on the hot seat if he lost in Kentucky last night. He might have been. He might have been, brother. Might have been. Jack Burton thinks that's funny. All right. I've partied in Pattaya. Is that how you say it? Pattaya Beach, Thailand. Or is that Pattaya? Never been to Thailand. Never been out of the country. I'm afraid to go out of the country. Well, let's go back to some. See what we got here. We're going to bring up some stuff for y'all. Here's the rankings. Let's go to the AP Top 25 in the coaches poll. They're out now. Here they are. Y'all see that? Holler at me. Holla, holla. All right. Let me take a swig of my Ghost real quick so I can get riled up some more. I just want you to know. I love all y'all. Even Steve Lee's a little bit, even though he's a little bit of a Fruit Loop. I hadn't seen him in here today, but Steve Lee's is our resident DEI Fruit Loop. Hadn't seen him yet. Anybody heard from Steve Lee's? Is he still out there skittle shitting? Y'all find Steve, get him in here so I can grill his ass. All right. The top 25, baby. Get that stupid ass commercial off there. All right. I don't really pay attention to the coaches poll. It's about the same anyway. Let's go down to AP top 25 and see what y'all think. Ohio Stank is number 1. Indiana's number 2. Man, I bet you they got a tent in their pants in the Big Ten conference offices, man. They got 2 teams at the top, and it's not Ohio State and Michigan. It's Ohio State and Indiana, man. This looks like a back in the day top 2 in basketball. There they are. There's the Colt, the all-male cheerleaders, the Texas A&M Aggies. I mean, my bad, Aggies. I'm sorry, y'all don't tell me. That's politically incorrect. I'm not supposed to say that. My bad. Not. All right. Number 3 is Texas A&M. Number 4 is Alabama of the 2 Crimson Nations, baby. Number 4, up 2 spots. Number 5 is Georgia, who jumped 4 spots. They even jumped over Oregon. I bet Ryan Guy's not happy about that. I bet he's wanting Oregon to be number 5 because after all, they did destroy Rutgers, who actually Rutgers is a pesky team. It's hard to blow them out in Piscataway, and Oregon did it, traveling all the way across the country. So number 6 is Oregon. Number 7 is Georgia Tech. Number 8 is Ole Miss. Number 9 is the Miami Cuba Canes down there close to Cuba. They dropped 7 spots after that luxurious loss to the Louisville Cardinals. Number 10 is Vanderbilt. Who would have ever thought Vanderbilt would be in the top 10, man? College football, man. It's great. It's great. Number 11 is the BYU. I'm not going to say what I want to say about BYU, but they do have a great religion that allows you to marry as many women as you want, as long as you can afford it, right? I know they passed a law. Oh, we don't do that no more. They're lying to you. They still do that shit. I'm telling you. Number 12 is Notre Dame. Number 13 is those Oklahoma Sooners. Boomer Sooners has climbed up 1 spot now in the coaches poll. Oklahoma people, y'all are up to number 11 in the cusp. Right there in the playoff picture. Texas got their win over Oklahoma with a banged up, basically disabled John Mature, and they still ain't close to sniffing the playoffs. Damn, that's got to suck for Texas. We beat Oklahoma and we still ain't sniffing the playoffs. But if Texas keeps winning, just like Notre Dame, Texas will be in the conversation. 2 losses as an SEC school will get you in. 3 losses may get you in this year because they're going by strength of schedule. Unlike last year, they put SMU sorry ass in there with a 75 strength of schedule. Now Alabama had like a 3 or 4. Screwed us and Ole Miss and South Carolina. Number 14 is the tortilla-slinging Texas Tech Raiders out in Lubbock. I'm going to start calling it Lubbock because Lubbock just sounds like crap. Lubbock sounds sort of French, like elitist French. Out in Lubbock, Texas Tech got to the top 5 and then shit the bed. Ha ha ha. After talking all that shit to Alabama fans. And there's Oklahoma's other favorite rival, Mid-Pooh. Oh, my bad. Mizzou, Darren. My bad, Darren. They told me to say it, man. They told me to do it. But Missouri and Vanderbilt did do something great for Alabama. They both bounced back after losing to Alabama. Vanderbilt had the week off. Missouri beat Auburn, beat the Barn Monkeys for us. Another loss for the Barn Monkeys always makes me happy. Always. So I appreciate the hell out of that, Darren, and all the Mizzou Tigers that went down there to the barn and made all those Barn Monkeys cry. Number 16 is the Virginia Cavaliers. Number 17 is the Tennessee Volunteers. Number 18 is the South Florida Bulls. South Florida's probably going to get that G5 spot. All they got to do is win out. By the way, Navy does play South Florida too, by the way. If Navy can beat Notre Dame in South Florida, Navy will get that G5 spot most likely. Number 19 is Louisville. Number 20, Louisville was unranked last week. They jump in there at number 19. Number 20 is LSU. They dropped 10 spots. Cincinnati's number 21. Texas Longhorns are down 1 after losing, which is what they should have done. The coaches poll moved them up to 18. That's why I don't pay attention to the coaches poll. Coaches poll is stupid because coaches don't vote. They get their SID or their sports information director to vote for them. So it's not a real poll. They need to do away with the coaches poll. But Texas dropped 1, which they deserve to after barely getting by Kentucky. Kentucky basically just give them the game. It's just like Auburn. There's some teams that just find a way to lose. And then on the other side of the spectrum, there's teams that just find a way to win, like Alabama. We've been barely surviving every week. Yeah, I know we beat Tennessee by 17, but that was probably the closest 17-point win ever. If you look at the stats, Tennessee beat us in most of the stat categories. Number 23 is Illinois. Why they're ranked, I don't know. I know they're 5-2 or some shit. But come on, man, you lost 63-10. I don't care if you lose 63-10 to the Pittsburgh Steelers or the Dallas Cowboys as a college team. You don't deserve to be ranked. You don't deserve to be ranked at all for the rest of the year. You should be punished for losing by that much, especially when you were number 9 and lost 63-10. Number 24 is Arizona State. They jumped back in after upsetting Texas Tech. And number 25 is the Michigan Wolverines. Says they're up to. So that means they were out of the top 25 last week. And that's your AP top 25 results. What do y'all think about that? What's y'all's beef? Y'all got any beef with that top 25? Any beef whatsoever? All right. Let's try to get some of these comments. Darren, Mizzou fan, our resident Mizzou fan. He's our new number 1 Mizzou guy. Our only number 1 Mizzou guy. You should be on the show sometimes, Darren. Do you like to talk? Yeah, some people just don't like to talk on camera. But, yeah, hey, anytime y'all want to be on the show, just hit me up on Twitter. It's called X now. I don't know what they're going to call it in 10 years. They might call it Zebras in Jupiter. I don't know. I always renaming shit. But you can catch me on X at OCF Productions. Hit me up in DMs. You want to be on the show? We can talk off air, fill each other out, and see if it's a good thing. Dallas said he partied hard in Bangkok. Kentucky Fried Dark. Really? Thailand's too cheap to pass up. Man, I need to go to Thailand. Dallas, you going to corrupt me, man. Why are you corrupting me, Dallas? Mizzou fan, Darren Mizzou fan says, go to the Philippines. You will love it. I thought you were going to go over there and coach the Nagasaki egg roll, said Michael McCullough. Well, Michael, I just can't leave y'all, man. I've tried to leave this channel a couple of times, and y'all just can't get rid of me, man. It's just too good of a gig, man. I do this shit for free. Right now, I am. Except I do get some donations, by the way, and I do have some people here I'm gonna name off real quick. People that have donated this month so far are Doug Foran, Richard Burton, Todd Pinson, and Darren Happ. Gold Club members, people that have donated numerous times and big time amounts. I'm not going to tell you how much because people don't like that. But Gold Club members so far are Heath Stokes, Ryan Neese, Tim Gillespie, and Calvin Glover. And I think Richard Burton also donated numerous times as well. So we'll put him in the Gold Club as well. You can do that by donating, like I said, on Cash App. Money $sign JPC316, Venmo JPC316. All right. Storm 4601 says Texas is going to get their heads handed to them. We saw their strength last night. Yeah, let's catch Oklahoma in a bad situation. That's what we like to do. We're going to catch them when they're coming off Lincoln Riley, Stinky Linky, TBOW, the bitch out west, goes out there to coach the USC Skittle Shitters and steals a bunch of players. Why he's still coaching at Oklahoma? They'll lie and say they didn't, but they did. They absolutely did that shit because they're underhand and they're shady. The NCAA didn't punish them, which they should have for tampering, but they didn't because the NCAA sucks. But, yeah. Texas know they had a little bit of an advantage over Oklahoma. Not many teams had to deal with that kind of shit. I'll give Oklahoma fans that. That's a lot of stuff that you have to. The NIL is just now coming out. Nobody's ever had to deal with that. Your first year head coach, get a bunch of players rated from you. You're probably your most valuable player, and marry Caleb Williams' fingernails. And then you start recruiting really well, which was amazing that he was able to do that. And you actually beat Texas one year. Even when Oklahoma's down, y'all can't string together more than 2 in a row, it seems like, here lately. You should have done 1, 3, or 4 in a row with the way what Oklahoma's went through Texas, you would think, right? But they were sort of banged up with John Mateer and his hand not really healed up. So maybe down the road they'll get a shot at each other again. Not likely, but Oklahoma can prove it's a fluke by continuing to win. Win out except for one game. Lose 2 season games. Y'all got to lose to Alabama. Y'all beat us last year, so you need to let me win this year. Y'all need to be greedy now. Y'all playing us at homecoming too, man. Don't come down here and spoil Alabama's homecoming, man. Y'all knocked us out of the playoffs last year. Lori says the only 3-loss team that we get in the playoff would be OU because OU had the hardest schedule. I don't know. I mean, that's debatable. At the beginning of the year, I'd say you was right. But now you got teams that are falling off, Lori. South Carolina looks like shit. LSU looks like shit. So you actually got a couple of games that are pretty winnable. And you already won that one. You definitely needed that one. LSU's the other game that's very winnable for y'all. Y'all need to beat LSU. I got them in Norman. So y'all should do it. Ole Miss comes to town. Ole Miss is reeling from a loss to Georgia. They may have a little bit of a hangover effect. So y'all might be able to catch Ole Miss too. But I don't know about that Alabama game. We'll see. We'll see. If Alabama were to lose another game, I wouldn't mind it being in Oklahoma. Then we could get a home game here in Tuscaloosa, which is what I want. I agree with Lori. Now your schedule gets real. Russell Neese says. Yeah, it does in a way. Like I said, though, LSU seems to be falling off a bit. Calvin Glover's in the house. He's one of our big-time donors. It feels like Texas, basically Kentucky, but what? But with a favorable schedule 2 years in a row. Oh, yeah. Right about that. Russell Neese says those teams snatched defeat out of the jaws of victory. That's true. Russell Neese also says, I always think Notre Dame's overrated. Yeah, everybody says that every year about poor Notre Dame. Notre Dame said y'all stole that We Are Champions sign from them. The one they tap when they go out. Oklahoma does the same thing. They said that Oklahoma stole that from them, Russell Neese. One wife costs enough, says Jedi Buck 79 or 79 Jedi. Buck says a one wife costs enough. I don't understand how them Mormons afford it. I saw a show where them Mormons were over in Australia where it's still legal, which is why I know it's still legal here. They're just being sly about it. The women in there, they all work, man. And they take turns helping each other take care of their kids and taking care of the chores, and they all work too. Now, we can get them to all work for us, Jedi. Well, now, you have a pretty good deal there. You got about 7 or 8 wives, man. Back in the day, Moses had 9 wives in the Old Testament. None of them worked, man. I bet you they were struggling, man, out there living in a tent and close to the desert over there. Man, they's probably fighting over kernels of corn back in the day with Moses in there. He had 9 wives, man. He had them all over, too. He had black, white. I even had some Asian wives. I don't know. Not as versed on the Bible as some. Tim Gillespie could tell us. Denizen. I'm one of them. I get stage fright. Oh. Yeah, Denizen. We've been trying to talk Denizen on here for a while. Darren says, I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you, too. AC603 in the his house. Roll Tide, 99-yard return. Are you saying that you want to see that again, AC? Because I can show it to you again. They showed it at the beginning of the show today. It was pretty epic, man. They'll probably do one of those paintings of that. Just call it the pick. 99 yards. Tennessee was going in to make it close, and that was a 14-point swing. I think it cost Tennessee the game, man. It just killed them. That was just a gut shot in the middle of the game. They were never the same, man. It's like one of those fighters that get knocked out in the 5th or 6th round. They finish the fight, but they're never the same after that and end up losing. What did Oklahoma do to be smitten by the football gods? Feel like Tom Hanks in Castaway as a Sooner fan. We all won yesterday, bro. I will say, one of you Oklahoma fans, I forget his name, might have been Brian Johnson, said that, he was bitching about the officiate. Like, man, y'all won 26-7, man. Stop that bitching, man. Officiating is bad across the board. Officiating is bad against Oklahoma, against Auburn, Alabama, Notre Dame, Missouri, Texas, New Mexico State, Slippery Rock, Nagasaki egg rolls. The officiating is screwing everybody. Everybody. So we can't use officiating anymore because everybody's getting screwed. Darren says, I'm patiently waiting for a breaking new huge freeze is fired. Auburn fans can thank us for putting the nail in the coffin. Forgot about that one. Once again, like our motto, the Common Joe and the Common Sally, putting those talking heads in the know. This is the home of the Common Joe and the Common Sally. No, even more so than all many talking heads, and Darren just made it so. Look here. Patiently waiting, he says, for Hugh Freeze to be fired. Forgot all about that one. That's another big name school. You might have Auburn, Florida, Florida State, Arkansas, Penn State, UCLA. Who else? I know I'm forgetting somebody. There's just so many. At this point now, I'm not firing my head coach unless he just tanks. If Brent Venable loses out, maybe fire him. But he would have to lose out at this point. If I'm an Oklahoma fan to fire Brent Venables, he would have to lose out and go 6-6. Oklahoma is Texas' Super Bowl, says Thunder OU Sooner. Texas is the liberal, spastic version of a fan base. That's definitely right. Lori Rogers is still here in the house. Lori Rogers says it would be an honor to become a deputy. I don't have Venmo, but I will get one. I appreciate you. Great show. 2 nations, 1 tribe. Hashtag. That's what you do. I'm sort of slow sometimes, Lori. Hashtag 2 nations, 1 tribe. That's going to be a new motto. I'm going to steal that, Lori. Is that okay if I use that? I'm going to start using it on the program. I'm going to put it right up here in the corner. You know why? Because it pisses them off, man. They get in here and go, y'all ain't no nation. Y'all ain't that great. Y'all ain't that great. Y'all have only won, between Alabama and Oklahoma, y'all have only won 25 national titles. How many is Oklahoma won? 7 or 8? Alabama won 18. That's 25 national titles, man. Crimson is where it's at. Stop picking that stupid-ass orange and blue shit, man. Just saying. Only orange and blue, I will say, that looks good. We have a guy that comes in here. He's a great supporter of the show. Try to remember his name. Everybody slips mine sometimes. But Crazy Anime Gamer. He's our Florida Gator. And Florida's probably got the best orange and blue that I've seen. Outside of Florida, all it looks like crap to me, man. Auburn's got the ugliest helmets I've ever seen outside of Penn State. And Tennessee don't even know how to do orange. They got the Lloyd Rogers orange logo. It looks like prison orange. Looks like they just broke out of prison or some shit. Looks like prison jumpsuits, man. By the way, I did a Tennessee hate song in my short section. If y'all want to go check that out, I think you'll like it. I think y'all get a little chuckle out of that. It's called Rocky Flop. You'll always be spastic as hell to me. Good old Rocky Flop. Rocky Flop, Tennessee. He brought Phil Fulmer in and tried to send us to hell. It didn't work because we brought Nick Saban in. And he went to work. And now Rocky Top sucks again. But the song is a little bit better. It's not on cue. It don't rhyme as well as it should, but it's good enough that it pisses the Tennessee fans off. That's my only goal, is just to press their button. South Carolina was a wee bit tougher schedule. Yeah, and Florida. Florida got a tough one too. You know they beat Texas. How you like that? Damn. We beaten Alabama again, Outlaw. Sorry. Better not. Better not, Lori. It's our homecoming. Why you got to be like that, Lori? Why you got to be like that? You get that off there for a second. I'll go back to that in a second. Y'all let me know what y'all want to talk about. Y'all push the program. Y'all drop it in the comment section and let me know what you want to talk about. We talked about all the coaching changes. Who do y'all think is going to be the next head coach at all these places? You Oklahoma fans out there, y'all pretty local with Oklahoma State, Okie State. Who are they going to hire? The fighting Gundys are fighting no more. He's gone. He's a man. He's fired. Who are they going to get now? Who's going to be, I'm a man, I'm hired? I'm a man, I'm fired's gone, and I'm a man, I'm hired. Who are they bringing in? Okie State fans, let us know. By the way, Oklahoma State, y'all used to bitch and whine about how Oklahoma and Texas got all this preferential treatment. And Texas did because they used to do the little Longhorn gay network that was underhanded as hell. When you're in a conference, you're supposed to share revenue. And Texas was being complete and utter dicks about it. But Jack Burton knows. He can tell you. And I lost track of thought. But, Oklahoma State. Everybody thought Oklahoma State was going to take over that conference and be the new blue blood. You know what Oklahoma State done after Oklahoma and Texas left? Absolutely nothing. When I say absolutely nothing, it's not figurative. It's very literal because they've lost every single Big 12 game they've played, every one, since Oklahoma and Texas left the Bay. Just left them there. Left them there, yeah, and y'all just left Oklahoma State out there, man, in the Sahara Big 12 desert. And now, look at them. They lucky that they even in the Big 12. If I was the Big 12, I'd kick their ass out and bring someone in and replace them, put them in the G5 conference somewhere where they belong. Because that's what they act like. They act like a G5 school. Sorry, Outlaw, we lost Texas. We can't lose. Swimming over Bama saves the season. I'm just saying, y'all can lose a second game and still get in, just like Texas. And y'all messing with Jack, insulting Texas left and right. I'm sorry, Jack. I got to be nicer. They actually, after all, they have won the last couple of weeks, and that's all you can ask for in the SEC. So don't complain about beating South Carolina 26-7 because you got 10 penalties. Take the win. Live and survive the next day, and that's what Texas has done. Texas is still in the conversation for a playoff spot because they've only lost 2 games. They're going to have to lose a third game. And even then, with the way things are going this year, don't be surprised. I know last year we got that one in with Clemson because they backed in. They got lucky beating SMU in that title game. And we got punished for it. We got punished for SMU shitting the bed. But another topic for another day. But, yeah, this year, I think there may be 2, maybe even 3 lost teams get in the way things are going. Jack Burton says, looks like Alabama's back. Turd Ferguson says, woo! Not so, says Russell Neese. Not so what? Oh, you had bad grammar. Sandy Green's in the house. Sandy Green says, LOL, I see you looking out for your beloved Bama. But yes, I could take a Bama loss if we have to. Have a blessed day, Outlaw. Bless you too, Sandy. Not sure if you're female or male, because Sandy is a unisex name, just like mine, Jesse. Chief Quanah Parker says Chief Quanah Parker had 7 wives and 55 children. A true Comanche. Comanche want to pow, boy. Comanche want to go pow pow in the tent, in the teepee. You imagine having sex in a teepee in the village? Man, everybody can hear what you're doing, man. I wonder how they got any privacy, man. Damn, man. You made me think of crazy shit, Russell. You're going to get me in trouble, man. I already been demonetized, man. Why are you making me go stray here? Preach it, brother, says Lloyd Rogers. 37 viewers. Hit the like button to help push the stream. Actually, we got over 50 here right now, Calvin. It's delayed on your end, I think. Hit the like button. Just like Fred Bagley said, y'all smash that like button. It pushes the party out. Gets this party crunk, because that's what we do up in here every single week. Let's talk college football. Now, during the offseason, we want to dabble in some politics because there's nothing else to talk about. If you get pissed off about that, don't watch the show. Russell Neese, Sooner. Fans, stop complaining, bitching, and moaning. Exactly. Take the win. Take the win, Russell. It's better than losing. It's better than losing. I know. I already felt the sting of at least losing to the fake Indians down there on the reservation. A shitty fake Indians team. By the way, Florida State has not won a conference game in 9 straight games. That's crazy. I think I already said that, though. That South Carolina win doesn't feel anything after the Texas loss, though. That's true. I feel you on that, brother. It'd be like us losing to Auburn in the middle of the year, and that's why I keep telling y'all. I know people get pissed off at me and they say it's sacrilegious, but they should move the Red River rivalry to the end of the year. The Texas State Fair was a great tradition to have with it back in the day when you didn't have as much demand for college football. Now the demand's so high for college football, and it's so important to try to keep your losses at a minimal and not put a damper on your season at any point, that losing to your main rival in the middle of the year, to me, it's a big gamble to me that your team will recover, which Oklahoma recovered. They did win. But I would much rather lose to Texas at the end of the year and not put a damper on the rest of my season. You see what I'm saying? And the Texas State Fair is a great thing from what I understand. I've never been. But the Texas State Fair is not more important than the Oklahoma football program and the Texas football program as far as big picture goes, in my opinion. Maybe not the Texas football program, because the Oklahoma fans don't care about that. But for the Texas fans in here, like Jack, I think it's more important for Texas and Oklahoma to look out for their big picture, long-term success by having that game at the end of the year. What do y'all think about that? Nagasaki egg rolls. I'm going to have to get a Nagasaki egg roll t-shirt made. What do you think, Denison? I think I should get some Nagasaki egg roll shirts made. Yeah, I forgot Oklahoma State. I was just talking about them. Oklahoma State. I'm catching up on the comments. Okie Pokey State. Oklahoma had 7 natties. Texas has 4. Yeah, Texas ain't made it to that thumb yet. Until you can make it to the thumb, not really a blue blood, Texas. Sorry. Wrong answer. Like Penn State, they think they're blue blood. They ain't got but like 2 national titles. Darren Mizzou fan says if Billy can get fired after a win, Freeze can get fired after a 4th loss in a row, maybe take the quarterback with him. OU didn't want him either. Yeah, poor old Jackson Arnold, man. He's snake bit, man. I don't know what to say about Jackson Arnold. I thought he was going to be the bomb, man. I thought he was going to be really good at Oklahoma. Calvin Glover says, although Kentucky and Tennessee both claimed the 1950 national title, which is one of OU's 7, and it's Kentucky's only natty. Kentucky and Tennessee claimed 1950. I mean, to me, after 1936, the only titles that count after 1936, and the ones before 1936 counted too. If you don't have a convenient timeline, I said this 1,000 times on here, people that come to my show know what I think about that. The forward pass was invented in 1907. That's modern football. If you say modern football didn't begin to 1950 or 1970 or 2000, you're just creating convenient timelines to try to make your team look better. That's all you're doing. It's very, very obvious and transparent what you're doing, so stop it. In my opinion, it makes you look a little petty, be quite honest, when you make convenient timelines like that. But from 1936 till the BCS in 2000 or 1999, the AP title and the UPI title, as it was called at the time, were the only two ones that really people recognized. And there's only two polls, so Kentucky and Tennessee, somebody didn't claim a legit title. I think Oklahoma had the AP title in 1950, and maybe Tennessee had the UPI. So Kentucky's claim is invalid, I think. Because the polls named Oklahoma Natty in 1950 before the bowl were Alvin, and Alabama claims some of those too. But there's a lot of people that claim them because that was the way it was then. They're not claiming something that wasn't legit because back then bowl games by the UPI coaches poll were considered a exhibition game. They didn't count against the season, so they didn't count the bowl game. They give the national title before the bowl game because the bowl games were considered an exhibition game by the UPI, not the AP though. Getting some good history lessons today, ain't we? Michael McCullough says, Michael McCullough is one of our big time loyalists as well. He's in here all the time. Michael's always with us. Appreciate you, Michael McCullough. Hopefully I'm saying your last name right. I thought you could take your microphone and camera and go over and do it. They got YouTube in Japan. Isn't that where the Nagasaki Red Rose are? I'm messing with you, my brother. Yes, Nagasaki is located in Japan. So, yes, you are right, my brother. Your geography grade is an A+. We also have Killer Breeze's favorite team is the Tokyo Tech Crab Cakes. Lori's in here laughing at me. What you laugh about, Lori? So funny. I have no clue who the Cowgirls will hire. Well, you need to know, Fred, man. You need to help them out. A lot of Oklahoma fans get mad at me when I make fun of Oklahoma State. Well, I'm used to living in Alabama where we make fun of Alabama and we make fun of each other. You know, it's a pretty hardcore rivalry down here, but that's why I say Oklahoma State's not really a rival. They're a charity case. Now, I know Oklahoma State fans get pissed off when I say it, but 91-20 absolutely reeks of charity case. Like Alabama, Mississippi State. Same deal. We're going to lose one more game. I hope it would be to Bama, says Denizen. Same here, brother. I wouldn't mind losing one more game, albeit a second in a row, which would sort of aggravate me a little bit. But, yeah. It looks like I got a phone call, brothers and sisters, so I'm going to cut this short, but I appreciate y'all being here tonight. Like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel. Yeah, and as I said, you can donate to the program, money $ JPC 316. KMCA to all the other teams. Class is now officially dismissed.